Thanks for tuning in. Today, I'm excited to jump into the topic of limiting beliefs. That sounds odd, I know, but it is an important topic for us to explore when we think about parenting autistic children. It's probably going to take me more than one video to do justice to this topic, but let's get started with what they are, where they come from, the impact on parenting, and the beginning of what we can do about it. Limiting beliefs, as the name suggests, are thoughts or assumptions that we have about ourselves that restrict us in some way. These limiting beliefs usually operate below our conscious level of awareness, which impacts how we react to situations. Let me give you some examples of limiting beliefs that parents hold. They might be about their child. Some of those come in the form of, he'll never do X. That's a limiting belief about the child. Or about themselves. If he's not making the progress, then I must not be good enough. Those are examples of limiting beliefs. We'll get into more examples as we get further in. I just wanted to give you a sense of what we're talking about. When these limiting beliefs are operating in the background as we pursue our daily activities, they can lead to tremendous stress, frustration, and feelings of inadequacy. I have to confess that in the early days of parenting, and by that I mean many years, I carried around these limiting beliefs and I was unaware that they were operating below the surface. And in addition to whatever challenges I faced in parenting, whether it was getting my children to eat or to sleep or balancing work and parenting, I was making the emotional impact on myself worse by carrying around these limiting beliefs, not being aware of those, and just allowing that impact to overwhelm me. And that's why I want to help you learn about what limiting beliefs are, how you can figure out whether you have them, what they are, and what to do about them. So let's mention a few more examples of limiting beliefs. Let's start with beliefs about your child. I mentioned before the belief that your child will never X, whatever that is. And oftentimes professionals will tell us things like that. And I think it's designed to protect us from disappointment in the future, but it plants these limiting beliefs that can be overwhelming in the present. I'll give you an example from my life. I was told that if my son didn't talk by the time he was 5, he would probably never talk. So by the time he was 4 years, 10 months, I was nearing a nervous breakdown because I really wanted him to talk. This is another topic because it's okay if your child doesn't talk. I learned that later. But when he was 4 years and 10 months, what I really wanted was for him to talk. And I had swallowed up this belief wholesale, believing that if he didn't talk by then, he probably wouldn't. Upon reflection, his words started to come in at about 7, I would say. And I realized, who says who, right? They might have some research that for many kids that's true, but sometimes I think it's true because when we believe our child won't talk, we stop working on it as hard. So that's an example of how a limiting belief not only creates the emotional toll, but it also can create a change in the outcome, right? If we don't believe our child's ever going to talk, why would we continue trying to get them to say even word approximations? Another pervasive limiting belief about your child is that they don't understand things. And oftentimes, especially if kids have limited language, we think they don't understand because they can't tell us how much they understand. But even when kids have full language, a lot of times they understand everything. And I really want you to, if you're believing your child doesn't understand things, I really want you to pay attention to that, because a lot of times when children can't follow rules, parents believe they don't understand the rule. And the truth is that knowing the rule and being able to follow the rule are two different things. So I just want to draw attention to the limiting belief that our children don't understand. They understand so much more than they're able to tell us, even when they have full command of spoken language. Here are some examples of limiting beliefs that some parents have about themselves. One example, I'm not good enough to help my child. Another, if I don't do everything perfectly, I'm not doing a good job, or my child won't succeed. Another one, and this one I suffered from big time, was somehow if I take care of myself, then I'm neglecting my child. Okay, when I say it out loud, I hear how ridiculous it sounds, but when I was going through it, somehow I felt like if I neglected to take care of myself, that somehow proved that I was giving everything I had to my child. And as I'm saying it out loud, I hope you can hear that that's not how it works. Now I want to move on to a few brief tips on how to start shifting these limiting beliefs. As I mentioned earlier, this topic requires a lot more attention, and I'll go into it in more detail in future videos. But I just want to give you a way to start addressing this and start thinking about it. The method I want to share with you, it has 3 steps. The first is to recognize the beliefs, the second is to challenge the beliefs, and the third is to reframe the beliefs. So let's start with recognizing the belief. That simply means paying attention to your thoughts. So if, for example, you're having a moment where you're struggling with your child and you think to yourself, I am not equipped to handle this, just recognize that, maybe write it down to think about later, and it starts to bring it out from under the surface. Next, you want to question or challenge that belief. So think to yourself, is that really true? Right? Then you want to look for evidence where it's not true. Places in your life where you've handled challenges beautifully, challenges with your child, challenges, any kind of challenges. So you're really questioning, is it true that I'm not equipped to handle this? Sometimes we just have those thoughts in the moment, but they bring you down. So it's worth A, recognizing them, and then B, questioning, is that really true? Think about times when you have supported your child or found ways to help them thrive. This process weakens the power of the limiting belief by introducing facts that contradict it. Wait, now I'm sounding like a lawyer, but actually, this is the work of coaching. This is what coaches help you with. So step 3 is replace. So once you've identified and challenged the limiting belief, the next thing you want to do is to consciously reframe it into a more empowering and balanced thought. The goal isn't to jump to unrealistic positivity, but to create a healthier belief that opens possibilities. So I'm going to leave the training there for today. Before I jump into a summary to help you come up with some actionable steps, I want to introduce myself in case you're new here. I'm Andrea Pollack, and I'm a parenting coach for parents of autistic and neurodiverse children. So let's jump into a summary. First, the importance of identifying limiting beliefs is that they're operating in the background and bringing you down. They're adding to the emotional burden of an already tricky parenting situation. It is possible, though, to overcome these beliefs and grow into a more empowered and resilient parent. The way we do that is to first recognize the belief, second, challenge the belief, and third, to reframe or replace that belief. So I want you to think about your own limiting beliefs and subscribe here for more strategies on this journey, because I'll be talking about limiting beliefs. I'll do another video soon on that to go deeper with you on how to address these things. So if you like this content, please like and subscribe so that you can get more of this content delivered in your feed. But also it helps me reach more parents, so that would be really helpful. And in addition, if you want to leave a comment about a limiting belief that you struggle with, we can engage in a conversation in the comments, or I can do a new video for you. So I would love to hear what you think about this. Until next time, thanks for tuning in.